Today I'm going to show you how to sprout mung beans or lentils. And this is a system you can set up to do on a daily basis. Something I do every single day. It's just part of the routine. And as always, I like to figure out the super inexpensive, cheap, easy way to do it without having to buy, all the special sprouters that are out there, because they're usually made out of plastic and they're expensive and they're just hard to find. So all you need is you can go and buy usually like a 12-pack, like a case of these wide mouth pint jars, and you can get them for like under $10. So I have a bunch of those ready to go. And then for rinsing and straining, when I get to that, some health food stores, they have this green, you might see these green little, they go on top of a jar and then you're supposed to sprout with them. Now, personally, they drive me crazy because they never fit and they don't screw, they just make me nuts. So I don't even use the green part, I just buy it for this. Because when you go and buy your 12-pack of jars, they come with lids. And so this fits so nicely in here, and it can screw onto here so that you have your here's your apparatus. It's all set up, ready to go. So now let's get into the sprouting part. So to do this, what's best is like 7 o'clock in the morning or whenever you get up, if you want to make this part of your daily routine, because it's just easy if it is part of your routine. Start with taking one of your jars, pour in, now I have a 1/4 cup here. I usually do a 1/4 cup and a little extra because I like my mung beans. So that you just put in the jar, take some water, cover it up, and now this is just going to sit for like 12 hours. So if you start it in the morning, then 7 o'clock at night, you come home, or whenever you're ready, then you're going to strain it. Now I have one staged already. This one is 12 hours later. So the same amount of mung beans goes from looking like this unsoaked to taking up quite a bit of volume here when it's soaked. Now back to that strainer I was talking about. This is where I'll take the lid, put this on here, and I take it over to the sink and then just rinse it a couple times and strain it out. Now having the lid with the screen like this just makes this process really fast because you can just do it quickly. Now if you can't find one of those green crazy things that don't work very well, fear not, you can always go and get one of these and just do that and go to the sink and do your straining. That works too. Just a moment, I have to go strain the bean. Right back. I just went over to the sink, gave it a couple rinses, strain the bean. Now the only other thing you need is a bowl. So after your beans are strained, they're ready to sit. You just put it in like this. Now some might fall out into the bowl a little bit, and if that happens, that's fine. You just scoop them up and just throw them back in there. All you really have to do is figure out the temperature of your place and how fast stuff sprouts. For where we are, it works best when we soak in the morning, rinse when we get home from work, and then rinse again before we go to bed, and one final time in the morning. So by lunch, I come home for lunch, so by lunch the next day they're ready. Now if you're not able to eat them that next day, the other thing you can do is, now here's some lentils I soaked yesterday, and as you can see, they keep going in the refrigerator. So I just throw them in the fridge when I can't eat them that day and just have them ready to go for the next day. But using these bowls, the jar, it lets the extra water drain. Like you can see here, there's extra water in there. It'll drain out. You just let them sit, but it takes just a day. So that's it. Super easy, inexpensive. These are the little beluga lentils. They're black, really tiny, or sometimes you'll see the French Chickpeas lentils. They're kind of speckled with black. This is a green, basic green lentil, and then I also have these mung beans. But any whole lentil or mung bean will work with this soaking, sprouting system. So go ahead and give it a try. It's very fun. Thank you. Oh, a couple quick things to mention. Some questions are, how long do you, or how, starting over. Okay, Just a couple things that I forgot to mention. How long should the tail of the sprout be? I typically go until it's like maybe a quarter of an inch, until the sprout just comes out. I don't sprout my mung beans to be like what you would get in like an Asian dish where it's those long white bean shoots. I just keep the bean so that it only has like a quarter-inch tail sticking out so that the protein content is still higher. And same thing with the lentils. Here's a close-up of some beluga lentils. They're the ones that are black when they're dry. As you can see, the sprout is about a quarter of an inch long. And up next are some mung beans, and a close-up of the mung bean sprout. And last, there are some green standard lentils. And again, when the tail gets this long, you can either eat them right there or you can put them in the fridge and they'll keep for several days. Personally, I do still cook them. I know some people eat them raw as is. I find that there's a weird flavor there that like a deterrent, so I don't eat them raw. But I do only put them in a boiling water for probably like 5 minutes. They cook that fast. Like once they're sprouted like this, I just kind of give them the bath, I call it, but I just boil water, throw them in there. 5 minutes later, that weird taste is gone, and so that's when I eat them. I just trust my palate, I guess, as to why I just briefly boil them. Some of you might be asking, well, what's the point of sprouting? Why is it necessary for me to sprout my mung beans or my lentils prior to cooking them or eating them straight? Well, first of all, sprouting is the process of germinating seed, or sprouting a seed is where you take advantage of the enzymes that are still active in the seed, so that as that sprout starts to form, it takes the complex proteins in the legume and breaks them up into simpler protein structures or amino acids for you to assimilate and digest. Same thing with the carbohydrates. It can take some of the carbohydrate that's present in the seed, start pre-digesting it through the enzyme, breaking those long carbohydrates up into simpler chains, again, making it really easy. Now, some of you might be asking, well, you mentioned that you cook your seeds or you cook your sprouts before you eat them. Now, like I said, I personally do cook them because I want to further reduce any digestive inhibitors that are present in it. Plus, some argue that, well, you're destroying the enzyme by giving it that 5-minute hot water bath when I go to cook it. Yeah, you are destroying any enzyme that is remaining, but the point of those enzymes is for it to do the pre-digesting and germination process when it does all that breaking up of the complex proteins, breaking up of the complex carbohydrate. The enzyme's goal has been met. It already did what it needs to do. So let it germinate, and then you can take advantage of, you can reduce energy with cooking. It's way easier on your stomach. You'll find you're probably having less digestive issues if you did have digestive issues with beans. And it's just kind of fun to grow sprouts in your kitchen. So enjoy. Thank you.